FAIRtax Power Radio at CPAC 2021 continues. We are talking now with Representative Kat Cammack, Florida District 3. It has been a long day. I know they have run you ragged, so thank you for taking a little time to talk to us.
Absolutely. And you know, CPAC is fantastic. Even though we're all a little bit tired, it has been phenomenal. You have got such a powerhouse lineup of speakers, so many great ideas and issues for the conservative movement are being talked here. This is really the energy that we use going forward that coalesces us as one entity, unified in fighting to take the House back. So fantastic speakers, fantastic programming here at CPAC.
Agreed. Now, last time we talked to you, you were candidate Kat Cammack. We were in your campaign office, and you were signing the FAIRtax Candidates Pledge. So first order of business here is to thank you for following through on that pledge and actually becoming a co-sponsor of the HR 25 bill in the House.
Absolutely. No, proud to do it, and that's something that hopefully we can be working on now in the minority to educate other members and hopefully get them to sign on as co-sponsors for the FAIRtax, so that when we're in the majority, we have members that can be ambassadors for this legislation and we can implement change.
I see. Last time we looked, there were 17 co-sponsors. Out of 435 House members, we do have our work cut out for us.
Absolutely. And you know, this shouldn't be a Republican or a Democrat issue. This is an American issue. And at the end of the day, the FAIRtax is just that. It's fair. And I can think everyone can agree and would like to see reforms done. Right now, you look at what's happening with COVID and the impact it's had on the IRS. They're operating at 50%. We're seeing this outrageous spending that is happening at the federal level, really pushing Americans deep into debt, increasing our national debt, our deficit, and we're going to be on the hook for this. How are they going to pay for it? Well, they're going to raise taxes. This is all the more reason, regardless of whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, that you should be behind the FAIRtax.
Okay, well, you raised that as an American issue. That led right into what I was going to ask you about. I wanted to back up a little bit to the last interview we did with you. You know, there are multiplied thousands of people in Washington, D.C. making good money off the income tax. You called it un-American. Now, that's an idea that needs to be hammered home at every opportunity. Revisit that if you would.
Well, I can't even really remember what we were talking about back then, but you know, you think about how we use the funds generated, right?
Mm-hmm.
How government generates its income. We're taxing individuals, and the notion is that the more that you create, the more that you prosper, the more we penalize you. So we're disincentivizing those from creating jobs, investing in our local economies, and really excelling. That is un-American. So we need to take a look at our tax structure and really understand that if we want to really be the shining beacon on the hill and be the country of innovation that we have always been, we need to have a tax structure that incentivizes that. The FAIRtax basing all of your consumption, your tax based on consumption, that's fair because it is all dependent on your lifestyle and what you want to do.
All right. Well, you don't have to be a conservative or a Republican to like getting your entire paycheck with no withholding,
Exactly.
to see the IRS go away, the abuses that come with it, the audits that people have to undergo, the civil asset forfeiture. We've talked about that on FAIRtax Power Radio a lot. All of that goes away, and then that it goes across political ideology. How do we get the other side interested in this and get them to realize it's not a partisan issue like you said?
I think it just starts with having that conversation. I think that too often people have a preconceived notion of a bill or an idea because so many people on the right have been a champion of this. Maybe it's just because we get it. I think that we need to make a concerted effort to reach out to our friends across the aisle, starting with the freshman class. I think if you tell their constituents that they can go home and keep their entire paycheck, that's very attractive. And they would love to see some solution that allows Republicans and Democrats to come together. The FAIRtax is an American solution, not a partisan one.
We haven't heard much about it. If you watch it on any of the business networks and they're talking about it, the FAIRtax is hardly in the conversation, which kind of surprises me considering how well it would work for everybody. Any theories on that?
Well, as we know, you have large entities that are heavily involved. I think we have to start talking to some of the associations that really govern the business community. The U.S. Chamber, for example, talking with their team, talking with the NFIB, talking with all the associations that really represent the small businesses of America as well as our larger corporations. If you can get them behind it, that'll go a long way.
I agree. Well, I tell you what, it's been a long day. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you,
Again,
Bob.
we appreciate your support, and if you can be the warrior for the FAIRtax that your previous boss Ted Yoho was, we're in good shape.
I appreciate that. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.